Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, October 19th. It is 6:21 right now. Market's going to open in about 9 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and then we can get started shortly. So give me a few moments to finish setting this up. And then once we're all good to go, we can start with our analysis for this morning. Just a few more things here to update, and we should be on our way. So it's good. It's good. All right, cool. So with that said, let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. And we should be good to go. All right, so I'll get a few moments for people to make their way in. As people join into the room, I'm going to go ahead and mark up the nearby zones. Zoom out real quick. So I'm going to mark up the zones up and down the chart right here. All right, solid. So I'll give it a few minutes for people to make their way in, guys. Good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, October 19th. It is 6:24 right now. Market's going to open in about 6 minutes. I have the overall bias right here marked up already. I just marked up the zones right now. I'll give it a few moments for people to continue to make their way into the room. As people join in, I'm going to mark up market structure right here on the clean chart so that you guys can see clearly, what type of market we're currently in. So as a reminder, if you guys are new here or if you guys are not new, the main strategies that we're applying during these live sessions are going to be the variation V1, V1 continuation, and the SR rejection plus the new high-low quick scalp. Each strategy fits within certain market conditions, and this is why I mark up the structure here so that you guys can see. So as you guys can see right here, this is going to be a ranging market, right? So when the market's ranging like this, which strategy do we apply? We apply the SR rejection, right? That's the main one that we're looking to apply. When the market starts moving directional again, for example, if price breaks outside of this range, basically breaks through liquidity, comes back for the retest, and continues up higher, then that's when market is moving directional. We can start applying the variations and the high-low quick scalps. So, it's pretty simple, guys. There's only like 3 strategies that you'll really need to master, which are simple as is. So as long as you know when to apply them, that's all that really matters, right? So for now, since price is going sideways, we're looking to take these SR rejections. So 6:25 right now, market's gonna open up shortly. So let's go ahead and take a look at the overall bias for the day. So looking over here at the sentiment, I'll just refresh this real quick, make sure everything is on point. Sentiment is currently at 53% long. This indicates that 53% of retail traders are currently buying right now. It's not very much. on one side. We typically want it to be above 60%, but this just indicates that 53% of retail traders are currently buying. So you typically want to do the opposite and sell, but it's not very strong. So it's not going to be a strong bias for a sell. It's going to be a neutral to bearish bias. Looking over here at the fundamentals, they're currently down 146 points. With it down 146 points like this, our threshold is 100 points. When it's down this much, this is going to lean towards a bearish bias. Since the market is bearish, you typically want to look for some sells here, right? Lastly, looking over here at the overall bias with regard to trend, 4 hours bullish, 4 hours bullish, 60-minute is neutral. You can change that. 30-minute is bearish. 15-minute is bearish. And the 10-minute is bearish as well. The way that I'm identifying this is I'm looking down at the trend meter right here to make it really easy and quick to identify what direction price is going. So as you can see, a lot of these are starting to turn to the downside, right? So it's turning to the downside. It's no longer bullish. We're probably going to be looking for some sells here. Price came back up right here. It's rejecting off the sessions. Looks like it might be making its way back down. So market is opening in about 3 minutes, guys. Going back to the clean markup chart over here, as you can see, price is still ranging. So it hasn't really gone anywhere yet. So the difference here that we're looking for is we're looking for price to break out of this range here. And as it breaks out of the range, we can start looking for trades in, either the upside or the downside, right? So we'll see where that goes. But meanwhile, we'll continue following along to see, which direction we're trading in. I think we'll be looking for sells today, but who knows? We'll see what happens when the market does open. A couple of things here in the news. It says, we'll see if the movements from this morning will hold. Netflix is changing. They're going to ad-based model right here. They're talking about the interest rates. They're very high, just as they were, years ago. United is doing well. I think they're part of US30. PG's Forex morning. Procter & Gamble basically mentioned that it expects, the FX market to weigh on its results. So we'll see. I don't really trade Forex anymore, so that's not a big deal, but we'll see how that affects the market. So right here, you can see prices pushing up. The thing to keep in mind is that this may be an initial manipulated push, right? So you can see price pushing up right here. They might be luring in some buyers to just hop into the market so that the sentiment over here goes up higher. It's currently at 53. So if this number changes to 54, 55, 56, 60%, that's because retail traders are starting to bandwagon onto this bullish push. But I wouldn't recommend following because this could be a fake out. Price might just push up slightly. And then as soon as they have enough buyers or until market opens, price may just come crashing right back down because we already did our analysis on the long-term bias here. And it's obviously starting to turn bearish, right? So, we'll see what happens when the market opens here. But yeah, we'll play around with it. So let me check the news for this morning as well. So let me see real quick here on the 19th. We had news here at 5:30. It was positive. And we have news at 7:30. So there was news at 5:30 and there's news at 7:30 as well. So the market is now open. I'm going to go and mark up the news price real quick. Not really going to label it because it's kind of pointless at this point. All right, so I marked up news price right there. We have opening price right here. I guess I could label this too since I'm already labeling it. 5:30 US news. The positive news, the price came down. I'm basically labeling these news events so that you guys can have an idea as to where price fluctuates following news. So here goes, price pushes up. I don't recommend chasing this right here. I see this as a temporary push to the upside. The reason for that is because we did have earnings this morning as well. So that's what they posted on CNBC over here. There was earnings pretty much released this morning. A lot of people are just hopping onto it, but I don't think it's going to hold. So as you can see right here, you're seeing price start to retrace back below. So we'll we'll see where this goes. Yeah. So Dejan's asking if a breakout comes up, like market up for him. This is technically the breakout right here, but I wouldn't take it because it's such a big push on open. And just going over the breakout strategy, guys, basically you're looking for a strong candle in the direction of momentum and overall bias. For the bias right here, actually, this wouldn't be the breakout because, or I mean, the breakout would be kind of iffy, Dejan, because the bias over here isn't very strong, right? So typically you want to trade in the direction of the bias. If you're going without bias, then this would be the entry. But if you're applying the bias to the trade, there really is no bias right now, right? We have sentiment here, which is 53% long. It's not strong enough to be one way or the other. It's just right down the middle. Fundamentals here as well, they're down. 4-hour trend is bullish. Everything else is neutral or bearish. So if you wanted to take the breakout, this would be the breakout, but it'd be an iffy one for a couple of reasons. For one, the bias here isn't one direction. It's kind of going both ways. Plus, there is a session right here. So not sure if you caught that, Dejan, but this was technically the breakout. So I'll put the breakout requirements over here. So confirm entry after market open. You're looking for the first strong candle in the direction. So basically you're confirming overall bias. There's no overall bias here. So it's optional, but highly recommended. So if you weren't to look at overall bias, then, you know, you would have skipped it. But if you were to ignore this and move on to the next one, you confirm direction of momentum. We have a bullish buy signal right here. Confirm a strong candle in the direction of momentum. You can see this is a very strong candle right here, like barely any wick right there. And you would insert the close of it. So this would be the breakout. So if you guys take the breakout, great. I know some of you guys still take it. I haven't been taking it myself. I just been following it because of the, you know, current market conditions. It's not your typical market. Typically around this time, you see a lot of directional movements. We do have directional movements on some days, and then some days it's just super rangy. So like on Monday, it was great. Tuesday, not so much. Today, it's been kind of good initially on open, but we'll have to see if this actually holds. John said, no, professor was in my face. He missed it. Kip said breakout full TP though. Yeah, definitely full TP on the breakout. But Kip also mentioned that it was too close to sessions, which I agree. It was like literally at the sessions. So if you guys remember the breakout strategy, this isn't one that I'm typically applying myself, but I know some of you guys are still applying it, like Dejan. And these are the requirements for that strategy here. So just a reminder, guys, you know, even though we're only applying 3 strategies right now, or 3 main strategies, you can still apply whatever strategies you guys like. If you guys have been part of K2 for a while, or you guys have the access to the strategies and indicators, you guys can apply them all. They still work. It's just a riskier time to be applying them. Yeah, Pat said a few breakouts that have come up in this early fall session are acting like they did at the end of the spring session. Come right away and huge opening candle, but regardless of bias, but hit regardless of bias. Yeah, exactly, Patrick. So, yeah, I mean, you guys can still take it. Just take it at your own risk. I'd probably take it with a smaller lot size so it doesn't eat up your margin for the rest of the day. There's no other entries here. Price is obviously moving directional. So with price moving directional like this, we will be using the variation V1, V1 continuation, and high-low quick scalp. I mean, we can still apply the SR, but for the most part, price is moving pretty directional right now. So you can see price broke through all of the areas of liquidity over here. I'm going to mark up opening price, or yeah. So opening price is right there at 630. $7:30 and 8 or 7 o'clock. All right, so I marked this up right here so that you guys can see market structure, or market direction, actually. The high lows here are meant for market structure. Let's go and clean this up. So as you guys can see, price is bullish right here. In order to confirm that price is going to continue pushing up higher, you just want to make sure price doesn't come back down and retest opening price, right? If price comes back to this area, then this is where it's going to confirm whether price is going to keep moving directional for the day, or if it's going to reverse or consolidate. So just an area to look for. This is gonna be target price for that specific, price point. If price does come back down, however, if price stays up here, that's completely fine. Let's go ahead and take a look at the overall bias again. Obviously, 4 hours still bullish. 60-minute or 1 hour is now bullish as well. So this is fine. This is why you should just continuously look through the time frames to see if these if this bias is changing, because it's not going to be the same, all day long. It's going to shift. So you just want to be continuously looking around on these time frames to see, so that you know which direction to be trading in. Because if it's turning neutral like this and there's no more bearish bias, then we'll be shifting our focus to buys now. So we're typically looking for sells earlier. Now we could be between a buy or a sell. So we can still look for sells here, but for the most part, with the buy shifting up that way, let's see if this changes here. You can see a lot of the buyers here pulled out. So it was at 53% long earlier. Now it's at 51. So it's pretty neutral right now. With price being neutral like that, you can pretty much trade in whatever direction you want. So we'll see where this goes. Let's see. Patrick said, which invalidates the actual. Let me scroll. Morning, Kedi. Yeah, Patrick said, which invalidates the actual Kodi strategy. So not good practice. Yeah, exactly. No. So with the requirements there for the breakout, guys, what Patrick was referring to was not using the bias, right? So for me personally, I always have a bias whenever I trade. Like, that's why I always have this up right here. I want to make sure I'm trading in the proper direction of the market. So I typically use an overall bias, right? The second requirement. But, just a reminder to everyone, it's optional. So you don't have to look at the overall bias. I do recommend it because, you're taking a big risk if you're taking a trade that's against the bias. If it's neutral, then that's fine. You can trade in whatever direction. Like today was neutral. It was half bullish, half bearish, right? So you could have taken the buy, you could have taken the sell. However, if it's very strong for bullish, then I wouldn't take the sell. But yeah, you can apply whatever way you guys like. I mean, it depends on your risk appetite. Like for me personally, I'm a very conservative trader. I don't like losing trades like ever. So that's why I have like these requirements set in place, or optional requirements. So it's really up to you guys how you want to apply it. But like as Patrick has mentioned, a lot of the times you don't even need the bias. You can just take a trade and it'll hit either way. So just a heads up. But not good practice for beginners. If you're a beginner, follow the requirements as I take them, and you should have no problem. All right, let me scroll down real quick. Kip said he's charting a bullish day, but currently too much movement will need to retrace. Yeah, exactly, Kip. So I'm expecting a bullish movement too, because, based off the news this morning with the earnings. However, like you mentioned, it's due for retracements. Price is pushing up slightly. And then now it's tracing down a little bit, and we'll see if it continues pushing up further. So we will see where this goes. All right, so price is kind of now, it's now going back into a range. So it was ranging earlier, it broke out of the range, and then now it's losing its steam and coming right back down. So here's the retracement that I was just talking about, right? As price retraces down here, the key area to look for is going to be opening price. This is New York Open right here. Because if price comes back below here, then it's probably not going to continue up higher. It's probably going to reverse and come back down. So this is why I was telling you guys not to chase the trade, because this can easily just come right back down and screw everyone over, right? It's all about discipline and patience, waiting for these moves to play out. Because it's easy to hop in, chase like a direction that you think price is going, and then you end up getting caught in this huge drawdown right here. So we'll see how that goes. One thing that some people have mentioned to me recently, if you guys remember Coughing Aaron, Aaron is like one of the guys that basically helped start K2 with me when I started K2 by myself. Aaron was like my assistant basically with everything. He sent me this thing which is pretty interesting. There's this guy on like Twitter, and he's basically going to buy into like all those popular signal services, and he's going to do like an experiment. Basically, he's going to just test them out with like a certain account and see if they're actually profitable, which I think is going to be super interesting, because that's the reason why I got out of the signal space, because signals are like, I feel like a lot of signal providers, not that any of them are scams in my perspective, but I feel like a lot of them don't work, right? So I'm curious to see how that works. I've been talking with Aaron as well. We might be running up the signal service again at some point, but not necessarily me, because I don't trade Forex as much. He's going to be calling trades. I'll just be analyzing them to confirm that they actually will play out. But he'll probably be calling trades. So, I mean, we'll see. I'll let you guys know if that ends up coming back. But we'll see. I have to talk to Aaron about that. I've been talking to him lately because I know a lot of you guys have been asking for signals, but I just don't have the patience to call signals. I don't want to be on the screen all day. All right, so here we go. As price pushes around, still no entry for us here. But nothing will be changing with these live sessions, guys. I mean, this is basically what I do, right? I trade in the morning, so it's not going to change. It's just more stuff to be included. Here we go. As price establishes a low. As it establishes a low right there, it's starting to create a big range. So now we have this huge range right here. Which is 1,350 pips. So we got a pretty big range right here. And we will see where this goes from here. All right, we have a bearish momentum. So with bearish momentum right here, we're typically looking for sells applying the high-low quick scalp and sells applying the variation V1 or continuation. So I'm just going to refer to the continuation and variation as just the variation, right? I'm just going to try to make things as simple as possible. I use keywords. So if I'm applying the variation or continuation, I'll just say V1, and that'll apply for both. And I'll confirm whether it's, a V1 or it's a continuation. But we're just going to call it that. For the SR scalp, I'm just going to call it SR scalp. And then for the high-low quick scalp, we'll just call it that as well. I don't want to call it the high-low scalp because I don't want you guys to get confused with the actual high-low scalp strategy. We'll just call it high-low quick scalp. So those are the main keywords you guys need to focus on: V1, SR rejection or SR scalp, and high-low quick scalp. So right now price is in a range. So we're looking for a couple things here. We're looking for either the SR or the high-low quick scalp. It's not moving in a very directional movement. So, and actually we don't have let me check again. The thing with the variation, so this is the main thing that you guys need to focus on. For the variation, guys, you guys need to have a strong bias, right? We don't have a strong bias right now. So the V1 is probably not going to work for us. So that's probably out of the question. The main thing we'll be looking for here will probably be the high-low quick scalp. If we can find at least a stable direction, and the SR rejection. So these things are changing pretty often. As you guys can see, it went from, bullish back to bearish almost immediately on the 30-minute, 15-minute, and 10-minute. So you can see how it's it's a bit of a mixed bag, right? We have long time frames looking at bullish buys, while the short time frames are bearish. Again, the target price point is going to be the opening price right here. So as price continues to move along, if we get a retracement right here, this is kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for price to retrace, establish a high, and then when it establishes a high, I can take that high-low quick scalp towards opening price, because that's target price point for price to reach. Yeah, Jonathan said, I remember when the New York Daily was the only signal called. Yeah, that might be it. So like, I mean, if anything, if I do call trades again, it'll probably be like one of those daily entries. It's not going to be any of these scalps or anything on the 4-hour time frame because I don't want to be on the charts all day. If I do call signals for you guys, it'll probably just be like one of the longer trades, like the daily entry. If you guys took the daily yesterday, hit full TP right there. There's no daily for today yet. The 5-minute, no daily yet here. 3-minute, no daily here either. So if we do get a daily here, it's probably going to be a sell. You know, if price continues to drop lower. But it's right at the session, so if we do get it on this specific candle, probably no entry. It'd have to come on the next one. All right, so here's a retracement that we were looking for. The thing we have to look out for, though, is that it does not touch the sessions over here. That's the main thing to look out for. And it did right there. So it's in the red flag area. So I'll have to wait and see where this ends up. Where it ends up going. So let's see. Kip said I consider an extra red flag when sessions is significantly different on different time frames. It's always a little different. It's a sign of a wide range of supply and demand. Yeah, no, and I agree with you too, Kip. Yeah, if you guys look at the high lows and they're like super spread out, then probably want to be careful because you might get caught in a lot of bouncy movement. Another zone up there. Man, I really thought the market was going to start moving directional, but it's pretty much kind of moving how it was yesterday. It was moving fine initially, and then it is I slowed down a bit. Never mind. So I take that back. Price is right back here. It's reached its target price point. So we're not in a directional market for today. As you guys can see, price pretty much fake, or we'll see where it goes from here. Same target price point that I marked up earlier. You can see that blue line, which is New York open price. Price came down and rejected off it directly. So it hit the target price point perfect right there. You guys can see my blue line that I marked up on open. It came down perfectly. So price came right back to open right here. And at this point, we need to wait for the confirmation. So the confirmation that we're looking for at this point is whether price bounces off it and corrects back up, or whether it breaks below. If it breaks below, then odds are it's probably going to reverse from this point. So here we go with price breaking below it. We just need to confirm that it stays below here. So now that price is below this point, we need to see if price retraces up and continues back down. Yeah, complete reversal right here. So if you guys remember from this morning, I told you guys not to chase the buy because I anticipated price to come back down. And that's exactly where price is going. This was just a huge fake out. Price faked out right here. It's just initial push, pretty much lured in all these buyers. And then as soon as the buyers enter the market, it just stopped everybody out. Right. So whenever I analyze stuff pre-market, guys, like it usually plays out because I already anticipate this to happen. So like looking at this right here, this thing has dropped 1,700 pips. Crazy amount of pips right there. So the analysis played out perfect. It's right below it. Now we just got to confirm if it stays below here. All right, let's see. Price just pushed back above open, rejected directly off opening price. So as price stays below here, we'll see if we can find something, but the trend meter is still green. Medusa, the 3-minute hit closed and hit. So this was a daily entry for the 3-minute, guys. You guys can see right here where I marked up. However, it was at the session, so it'd be considered a very risky trade, but it did hit full TP right there. So if you guys took the daily on the 3-minute, full TP right there, I'll put the requirements up here. You know, as I mentioned before, I'm not applying these strategies myself, but if you guys want to apply them yourself, you know, the requirements are still the same. Nothing's really changed here. The 5-minute over here, again, it's at session, so I wouldn't take the trade as well. And you can see this one is super messy because the candle is too big. So, I mean, either way, I wouldn't have taken either of these, even if they fit the criteria, because it was right at the sessions. So you guys can see whenever price reaches these points here, it's super risky because you might get manipulation like this. Same with the 3-minute, even though this hit TP, there were red flags in, you know, both directions, up here and down here. Back to the 1-minute. So you can see right here that price came back up. Actually, it didn't close below. So now that price is coming back up from this point, price came back down, faked out below here. So basically price pushed up, faked out, came back below here, faked out. Now it's right down the middle. So what I consider this to be for the rest of the day is probably going to be a ranging market. I don't think this is going to be directional at all. I think price is just going to keep bouncing back and forth, which is fine. It's not a huge deal because we can still look for high-low quick scalps. High-low quick scalps are like one of the strategies that you can technically, it's like a hybrid. It's a hybrid between directional market and ranging markets. So for the V1, V2s, or sorry, the V1 and V1 continuation, that needs a bias, right, to take a trade. So that's why you would need to trade in this direction. Vice versa, the SRs applies like pretty much great during ranging markets, but it also works during directional markets. For the high-low quick scalps, you could technically use that in like both markets. There's such a quick move, but you kind of want to have some sort of a bias. This right here is a pending SR rejection entry. We have wick rejection off structure. We have a pending buy signal there. We just need this candle here to close as a strong, or not a strong, a moderate green candle. If we get that, this could be a possible entry for an SR scalp. But as I mentioned, guys, if you don't see like a solid candle here and a momentum signal by like the 10-second mark, then just skip it because it's just too close to candle close in order for you to take, you know, the entry there. So we're 10 seconds in. There's no momentum signal here right now. So we might have to just skip this one. Yeah, I'm going to skip this. So no entry off that candle right there. We have another opportunity right here. If this closes with a momentum signal, again, right there, pending momentum. We just got to count down until the 10-second mark. If the candle isn't solid by 10 seconds, just skip it. That's a problem with the SR scalp. Like you have to really be watching it to the very last second and wait for it to actually close before entering the trade. Let's see, Medusa said sessions. I don't see the sessions is right here, Medusa. You should be fine. TP is going to hit before it reaches the sessions. So it should be okay. As long as it's not too high. So for example, if it's this high, then, you know, probably skip it. But if it's like right here, then it's slightly okay. All right, we're 15 seconds in. We're at the 10-second mark. Doesn't look like we're going to have an entry off this for an SR scalp. So we got to skip this one again right here. I'll follow it if it hits, but I'm not taking this trade here. Yeah, too close to the sessions. As you guys can see, this pushed up at like the last 5 seconds. So you don't want to take trades like that because typically price will get pumped up for like the last moment and it'll come back for retracement. So this is technically the entry here. Not in it. Just going to follow it. This is why you want to wait for that confirmation. And I was tempted to enter late, but I'm just going to leave it alone. Doesn't look like a good entry. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it blasts right in the TP. It's just too close to the it's too close to the sessions. For one, it's too close to the sessions, and for two, you know, this candle actually closed like very last minute or last second, really. Nice. So it looks like Maddie caught it and Patrick caught it and hit their full TP. So if you guys caught it, great. If not, I'm not in the position, so it's all good. Patricia caught it as well. Maddie was accidentally trading AU instead of US30, so he only made 50 bucks on it. It's all good. It's profit. Nice. So B over here said that he took the early entries pre-market, locking the total profit of 4,331 for the day. Nice work, B. Or this might have been the breakout. So he took the buy here for the breakout, it looks like, or right before it, and he locked in some pretty good profit. So nice work right there. All right. So if you guys have profits post up, feel free. Otherwise, we will continue looking for trades here. Let's see. So I kind of want to confirm what the bias is right now before I look for any other entries. There's a possible high-low quick scalp right here. Kind of missed it. It has a pending signal on it though, so I kind of wanted to avoid it. I don't know if you caught that right there, Maddie. So if you guys took that, there was a high-low quick scalp. I was looking at it, but I saw the pending momentum, so I just ignored it. But there was a, yeah, Maddie said pending signal, so he didn't take it. Yeah, same here, Maddie. I mean, it would have been a quick entry. You would have entered, hit your TP, pulled out. Yeah, Maddie said, I hate the ones with pending momentum. They sometimes blast the stop loss. Yeah, and I agree, Maddie. It's better be safe than sorry, of course. Especially when the market's kind of jittery like this. It's not really moving smoothly. It's like blocky movements, if you guys have noticed. Like price will bounce around. Yeah, Maddie said if there was direction, I would have hopped in easily. Yeah, same here, Maddie. So like the difference between taking these pending these candles with a pending momentum, but still taking them anyways, is when the bias here is one direction, right? So you can see here that the 4 hour is bullish, 1 hour is bullish, 30 minutes bearish, 15 minutes bearish, and the 10-minute is bearish. With these half and half, it kind of weighs the scale, right? Because you don't know which direction to trade in. It's kind of going both ways. Long-term, obviously, price wants to go up. Short-term, price is coming down. But if you look on the 1 hour over here, you can see that price is actually becoming bearish. If price continues to drop lower below the pivots and price stays down here, then it's going to switch to bearish. So with that said, it kind of leans you towards taking sells instead of buys here. So it's kind of risky to take these buys here when price is likely to continue dropping. So for me personally, I'd probably be looking for some sells here instead of buys, because on the short term, it looks like it's going to be a sell. I mean, for the most part. Some adjustments here. Someone's still there. All right, so there's no direction here at all. Price is pretty much just going back and forth. I'm going to mark up the high lows over here to identify market structure for you guys. So you guys can see price is just going sideways. Here's the 7 o'clock mark. So here's where market opened at 6:30. Price pushed up, faked out, price pushed down, faked out, price pushed back up and went back into this range. So price is going into 7 o'clock to 8 in a range right here, basically middle consolidation. Looks like it's attempting to come back to open price, but still no confirmation right here. So I'm looking at this candle right here. This is a possible SR rejection entry because I saw the pending sell. If it does close with the sell signal, this would be the entry, but it does not look like it's going to close. We're 10 seconds in, no sell momentum. Trend meter turned back to blue. So no entry there for a sell. So here we go again. It didn't close with the momentum signal, so unfortunately no entry there. If it did close, this would have been the entry, it would have been a full TP. So you guys saw how there was a pending momentum right there. If that closed with a pending momentum, then it would have closed as a moderate candle. Trend meter was red. This would have been the entry, but unfortunately it did not close. So no entry there. At 7 o'clock, we still have an hour left, guys. So don't worry. Hoping to find at least, 1 or 2 trades here to take during this session. Here we go. As price comes back down below opening price. So here it is with the second attempt. Price made its first attempt to come back below here, faked out, came back below, and it's testing it again right here. It's possible high-low quick scalp for a buy here, but it's at opening price, so it's going to be a little risky. This is the high-low quick scalp right here for this. I'm probably going to hold off on it. This previous candle over here had touched the opening price. Whenever price touches these red flags, you want to skip it. Typically, it's a candle before entry. You typically want to avoid this here. Which is fine. We'll wait for the next one. Yeah, and good thing we avoided it because we would have gone stopped out. So yeah, like Maddie said, avoid all red flags. As we continue to build the strategy, we'll continue to add things to it. I know before we weren't really like drilling down on this stuff, but now that we see it more and more, we'll avoid these trades whenever price touches any of these red flags. This one's kind of hard to see right here, so I'm going to try to make it a little thicker. Okay, so there we go. I made it a little thicker so you guys can see it. Yeah, Maddie said avoid all red flags. There's a lot of entries. You don't need to take them all. Just pick the quality ones. Yeah, and I agree with you, Maddie, 100%. Also, Sam over here mentioned also sell signal pending for the last 4 candles. Yeah, I started to notice that too, Sam. So you want to be super careful about taking entries right here because you don't want to get caught on the wrong side of the market. The trend meter right here is shifting back and forth. So you can see there's really no direction. Price is really just going sideways right now. Here's the clean chart. I mean, this is an even literal side of it where price is going sideways right here. So there's really no direction. Price is pretty much just going sideways slowly right here. Yeah, there's nothing for us to take here. I mean, even for some SR rejection scalps, there's no sell signal, so we can't even take any sells here. There's no sell signal and there's no green trend meter. The trend meter is now red, so we'll see how this pushes. It seems like the market is starting to turn a little bit until I think we have news today, don't we? At 7 o'clock or 7:30. Yeah, we have news over here. Crude oil inventories at 7:30. Mark it up right here. There goes, price pushes back up. For this one right here, Maddie, are you talking about this small candle? So the trend meter would need to be green for it to be an SR rejection entry. So it might have been green when you were looking at it, but it kind of changed back to blue down here. So yeah, if the trend meter was green, that would have been a solid entry for it to. Gosh, yeah. So Maddie said it was green. Yeah, I could see that because it's going back and forth so quickly that I think when you would look at it, Maddie, it was probably green. This one. Yeah, it's just going back and forth a lot. So whenever you guys see the trend meter down here, you guys will see that it does repaint while it's active. As soon as the candle closes, it'll be stuck there. So Yeah, Patricia said it was green for her for a second as well. Yeah, so I don't question that at all because I do see it right here changing super often. It was red for a while, now it's back to blue. So if it does spike up again, it's probably going to turn green. I mean, it's just not a good area to be trading. You can see our price just going sideways right here. And this is kind of what I expect it to be for the rest of the day. If it's going to be like this, then fine. We're just going to we have to look for SR rejection entries. Maybe a couple high-low quick scalps if we can find some sort of direction, but we'll see. Just got to play around with it. All right, so we'll see where this goes. There's like really no direction right now, guys. Price is starting to shift to the upside, but there's no direction like overall. 10-minute is still bearish. 15-minute is still bearish. 30-minute still bearish. 60-minute, it's right down the middle. So it's bullish, but it is sort of down the middle. Here we are on the clean chart. Not really much going on. So we'll see where this goes. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. It's a bit of a dead period right here. So if there's anything you want me to cover, anything that you want me to explain, feel free to let me know. But I will, so I'll put the strategies here again, guys, so that you guys can see. Main strategies we are applying session. So I'll move this over here so we can see the candles. So we're applying the variation V1. V1. High low scalp. So these are the main strategies that we're applying, guys. Just FYI, if you guys are wondering. It's going to be the variation V1. We want a continuation. We're going to be applying this during directional markets with overall bias. We do not have that right here. As you guys can see, it's bullish, bullish, bearish, bearish, bearish. So it's pretty mixed up. So no entries here for any variations, it seems like today. For the SR rejection scalps, we're probably going to knock this out and not apply any variations today. However, for the ranging and consolidating markets, we're applying the SR rejection scalp. So as you can see from here, price is ranging, right? Might be hard to see, but if you draw some lines right here, or I'll just show you the other chart. You can see right here that price is just ranging, right? Because I've already drawn it up right there. It's going sideways. So for this type of market, this is going to be the best strategy to apply. And then lastly, if we have a directional moderate bias, we'll be applying the high-low quick scalp. This is sort of the case here because we have, so if you look at the bias over here, we have 3 bearish, 2 bullish, right? So it's moderately bearish right now. And it goes in line with retail sentiment and fundamentals. So with that said, we're probably going to look for some sells here for these high-low quick scalps. If we can get a sell signal, we don't have a sell signal here, so we can't really take it yet. But once we do, we can possibly take it. There's a buy right here for a quick scalp, but I'm not really looking to take that right now specifically. As you guys can see, this one probably hit, but it was like a risky entry. Yeah, so this one right here did hit, but you know, it's super risky. So like you want it to be at least somewhat directional. It can't be ranging like literally sideways for you to take the high low quick scalp. So for the most part, we're looking for SR rejection scalps. Otherwise, we're also looking for high low quick scalps or possible sells here if prices drop back lower. Let's take a look at sentiment if it's changed. Sentiment is still at 51%. So it does not look like there's any retail traders that are hopping into the market. It's been at that percentage for a while now. So it's still at 51% long. So it doesn't look like there's any retail traders in the market really screwing around. Fundamentals are now down to 50 points. And that's about it for now. There's not too much going on. All right, so there isn't really much going on right here, guys. You know, price is just going sideways. So let's see some profits over here posted by Patricia. Nice work, Patricia. So Patricia over here, her first account, she took the breakout, locked in a total profit of 2,325. So if you guys took the breakout with Patricia and I think B earlier, you guys made some pretty good profit off that breakout. So nice work right there, Patricia, for catching that. And her other account, she locked in 3,217. Nice work right here. She looks like she took a couple scalps to the upside. So very solid work with those buys. And then her last account over here, she's currently up 3,292. A lot more trades on here. A couple losses, but she bounced back like immediately right after. So great work right there, Patricia. So Patricia's 3 accounts, solid wins all around. Some more profit over here from Patrick. He said slippage in his favor. Looks like he was to lock in 1,000 pips. I mean, 1,000 profit. He actually locked in 1,600. So solid work right there, Patrick. Great work. And I think that might be about it for right now. If you guys have any more profits to post up, you know, feel free. Otherwise, we will continue along with our analysis for this morning. So price is like literally doing nothing. If you guys can see here, I mean, just looking at it from a bird's eye view, price hasn't done anything in the past. So from right here, when price got to this area, price has been going sideways for about 20 to 25 minutes of sideways movement. Right, price is breaking out of this range, which is a good thing. Check 10-minute. So I'm just checking to see if the trend here is changing for the 10-minute. I mean, the trend is changing right here on the 1 minute. So we'll see if price continues to push up higher, then that's completely fine. We can probably look for some high low quick scalps for a buy. Because what might happen here is if price continues to push up higher, target price point is going to be the structure right here. Right. So we'll probably look for price to push up a little bit, retrace, establish a low somewhere over here, and continue up higher. At that point, we can take our high low quick scalp right here. Or obviously, you know, quick 100 pips or so right down there. So we'll see where this goes. Yeah, Patrick said pending high-low scalp, but at sessions. And of course it hit. Yeah, no, exactly. So there was a high-low scalp that was right here that Patrick identified. This is the actual, like this is the original high-low scalp strategy, if you guys remembered it. Basically, you're looking for a high that has not been tested yet. Right here, price broke and closed past it. So this would have been a high-low scalp entry for a quick 100 pips. Obviously, it was at the session, so we would have skipped it, but it did hit right there. That's what Patrick was referring to in the chat. You can see prices pushing up here. Target price point, as I mentioned, is the structure. That's where it's attempting to reach. If we get retracement right here, perfectly fine. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Looking for this to come up, come back down for retracement, establish a low. Once it does that, if it pushes up higher, we can take the buy on the next movement to the upside. So we'll see what we got over here. Let me just take this off. This is the range from earlier. Make some updates. Kip said 3-minute pivot scalp hit as well. So yeah, as you guys can see, if you guys are here in the chat in the Zoom, you guys will see that, you know, other people here are applying other strategies or they're identifying it. If you guys want to apply these other strategies, I mean, you guys are more than welcome to apply it. Just keep in mind that they're going to be a bit risky, depending on, like, you know, which direction you're trading in. A lot of these strategies require a directional market. Since we're not in a directional market right now, it's a bit difficult to cash these, or at least cash them and feel confident about them, right? You guys can see right here, we have a lot of strategies. So if you guys are part of, you know, K2, or if you guys are part of, I mean, anything really, if you guys have been part of the group for a while, you guys know that we have an unlimited amount of strategies here that you guys can apply depending on like what you want to apply. Obviously right now we're only applying 3 strategies, but if you want to apply the pivot scalp, there's a pivot scalp entry that came up right there. There's one right here on the 5-minute that's also running. I'm not in this position, but I'll mark it up for you guys. Looks like this one already hit full TP right there on that following candle. Pivot scalps on both 3-minute and 5-minute. Here we are back on the 1-minute. I'm looking for a high-low quick scalp if we can possibly get it. Still no low here established. Now we'll see where it goes. Take a look at the bias over here, if it's changed. See, retail sentiment is still at 51. So I don't see any retail traders getting in or out of the market. This is just market makers, institutions pushing price around. It seems like they're trying to lure in some more buyers here. That's kind of what it seems like. They spike price up right here, so people will chase this buy. But nobody really bought because it's still at 51%. This hasn't changed 1 percentage point. So I think they probably did that to stimulate the market, hoping that people would buy into it, but nobody bought into it. I mean, it's kind of surprising that people aren't really getting into the market. I don't know if there's anything going on today or anything that's really scaring people from entering trades. I know there's earnings after the market, but I don't think there's anything going on in between. But it seems like a lot of people are spooked right now, because typically this number would be changing, you know, pretty often throughout the day, but it's still at 51%. It does seem like people are spooked and not entering any trades. We do have news coming up here in 10 minutes. The EIA gasoline stock change, etc. It's pretty much crude oil inventories. And we'll see how that plays out. But there just isn't much for us to take right here. Trend meter is now bullish. Check the 10-minute. 10-minute is now neutral. $15-minute neutral as well. So this gives us the opportunity to switch from our bearish bias or bearish short-term bias to neutral to bullish. 3-minute. Still bearish. Okay. So we didn't get a low over here. I was expecting this to establish as a low, but it didn't come up. So we couldn't take the entry there. But if we did have a low at that candle right there, we would have had an entry for a buy right here, which would have hit its full TP. Yeah, I'm kind of curious why it's low here didn't come up. I mean, the algorithm knows what's the proper low, so maybe that's the case. We'll see. Price is still pushing up. You know, target price point, as I mentioned before, is going to be the structure here. Price hasn't reached it yet. but it may be getting there at some point. Yep, it's blasting right through it. So there goes the analysis for that bullish push. Unfortunately, we didn't get a low here. I was really expecting the low to come down right here, but it didn't. That would have been our entry, the entry we were looking for. Because if you guys remember earlier, this is the exact setup that I marked up down here. I mentioned that price was going to push up to this point. This was target price point. So what I was waiting for is waiting for price to push up, retrace slightly, establish a low there, and then we were going to take that to the structure, but it never came up as the as a low at that point, unfortunately. Patrick said 10-minute snipe just hits. Let me go on the 10-minute over here. So again, another strategy here. Thanks guys for mentioning these strategies. I know we're not applying them right now during the live sessions, but this is the 10-minute snipe strategy. The entry that Patrick was referring to is this one right here. I mean, it could have been either one. There's like 2 entries right there. So yeah, it could have been either the first one right here or the second one following it right here. Yeah, so if you guys want to refresh yourself on these strategies, just go on the course. If you log into the website, you guys will see all these strategies here. Yeah, no, Patrick said, called me on it because, I love the snipe. Yeah, no, the snipe, this was one of my favorite strategies for a while. This works very well during directional markets. Lately, markets been kind of ranging, so it's kind of difficult to take these, but when the market is moving directional, the snipes here do play out solidly. Yeah, Patrick said Karen called it. Oh, Karen, sorry. Sorry, Karen, my bad. Yeah, it's because your name here on the Zoom is blue and Patrick's is blue too. I just don't see Karen on there as often, so I thought it's all good. Yeah, sorry, Karen. But yeah, no, Karen, great call on that snipe there. Patrick does love the snipe, so I typically think it's Patrick whenever it's called. But yeah, no, great call there, guys. So if you guys want to apply these other strategies, you guys can see that there's multiple strategies here that other people have called out. There's a snipe entry right here, the 5-minute pivot scalp right here as well. It's just the pivot scalp, but it's on a different time frame. This is the 3-minute pivot scalp, and same with this one over here. So all the strategies still work fine. It's just that we want to focus on like a couple here that we can just drill down on. And the thing with these strategies is that a lot of them line up the same way anyways. Like if you see a pivot scalp, it typically lines up with something else. Like, let me see this real quick. Yeah, so this pivot scalp over here was like a V1. If you guys look down here, it's a double body rejection. So we had a double body and it's also a pivot scalp. So a lot of these strategies here align with other ones. So, and what I mean by variation, I mean the variation V1, one of the first ones that we're applying right here. Rashida said, I wasn't looking at my trading view and I had a high-low on that candle. Rashida said, I use your high-low indicator and the swing point indicator. The swing point was the one that she had there. Let's see. Yeah, at this point right here, right, Rashida? Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I would have thought that the indicator would have plotted a low there because that's where I would have identified it, but it just didn't come up. Sometimes the indicator does that where it'll skip over one, or the calculations kind of don't establish. Because I think the low here didn't drop far enough, because you can see how price kind of swings. Like we have a high, low, high, low, high, low. The high was like right here. And I think since it was only like 3 candles down, it didn't establish the low yet. Because typically it's like about like 5 candles past it. So like, for example, one right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. From this low, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. From this high, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, about like 7 candles. So I think it was just too close to each other. Thanks, Patrick. We got news coming up in 5 minutes, guys. So no entries from here until news passes. I'm hoping we don't get any of these entries from now until then. Hoping price just consolidates until news, and then we get a directional push from there. So here are the high lows, the market structure we drew earlier. Price basically just blasted through the liquidity right here. So here's a clean chart. You guys can see price literally just shot right through the liquidity and then it came right back down. So there's a possible high-low scalp right here, but it's just a little too close to news. I'll mark it up here, but obviously we're not going to take it. This is one of our red flags to sit out of the market. So this right here would have been the high-low quick scalp. Let's see if it hits. Let's set an alert there to watch it. It's probably going to blast right through it though. Not yet. So this is an example why you don't want to take the high-low quick scalp during red flag times, because you get movements like this, a lot of pre-news movement where price goes back and forth. I mean, it'll probably hit eventually, but it's just too risky of an entry to take for me. So we got crude oil inventories coming up right here at 7:30, 7:27 right now, 3 minutes till news. Curious to see if anybody chased that push to the upside. Let's look at sentiment over here. Looks like people actually pulled out of their buys. So now it's 50-50. It was at 51% earlier. Now it's at 50-50. Here goes, price starts to blast up. Yep, full TP. Unfortunately, it happened right at news price, so we couldn't take it, but there we go with the high-low quick scalp, blasted right through the TP. And I hate when this happens. I hate when we get these entries that we're waiting for. We've been waiting for this entry for like the last 30 minutes. It comes up at the worst time possible, like literally when we have news coming up right here at 7:30. Stuff like this really tests your patience, because this will cause you to like FOMO in on the next trade. So just something to keep in mind whenever you guys have that thought of like hopping into a trade and FOMOing in. Probably don't take it, you know, unless you feel really confident. If like everything here was bullish, so for example, if everything here was bullish, the 15-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, if it was all bullish, then yeah, I would have FOMOed into that trade, because I would have had the idea that price is likely to keep pushing up. Looking at this here, it looks like the bias is starting to turn bullish again. So the 10-minute here is bullish. 15-minute over here also bullish. 30-minute bullish as well. So we have a very strong bullish bias right now. I don't know how long this will hold for, but everything is bullish right now. But we do have news coming up right here in about a minute, so we'll see how price reacts to it. Let's see where we're at. You guys, price pushes up higher. So this is the high-low scalp that Patrick was referring to. It's like right at news candle though, so I obviously wouldn't take it, but this is the news candle right here. Whoops. Let me fix this. So this is 7:30 a.m. US news. See what the news was like. News right here at 7:30. CV leading index for Australia. Crude oil inventory is negative. 1.7 million. That's a big change. So last month we were at 9.9 million crude oil inventories. We're now at negative 1.7. So a lot of oil within the last month. Positive news. But you know what happens when you get positive news? Price typically does the opposite and go lower. All right, so not really much. It was not much of a push. I was trying to see if price would move directional after the news happened. News happened right here at 7:30. Nothing really happened. Price kind of just stayed where it was. Looking over here at the sentiment hasn't changed very much either. So there's not very many retail traders who are in the market right now. You know, this thing has changed like 1% for the entire session, which is very unusual for a midweek trading day. Today's Wednesday, so typically like the volatility is usually a lot higher. Seems like a lot of retail traders they're just not in the market. It seems like a lot of people are spooked. Let me see the news for tomorrow to see if there's anything coming. Let me check CNBC real quick. I'm just curious why there's not that many retail traders in the market right now that are really getting in and out of positions. That literally at 50-50 right now. I know a lot of it has to do with like the earnings that are coming out later today. I forgot what else is being released today, but Netflix did release their earnings earlier. So we had Procter & Gamble's earnings today, I'm assuming. It says Procter & Gamble's earnings beat as higher pricing offsets drop in volume. Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see, like, I don't know, are people spooked because they're like realizing that we're going to a recession? Or is this just like one of those days where people are just not trading? So let's see. Dow climbs 100 points in choppy trading as investors weigh solid earnings, rising yields, etc. That's the Dow up 100 points. Let's check the heat map as well. Go back to the charts. So there's a pending signal right here. I know this is also a I love quick scale, but there is a pending signal there. It's one of our things that we try to avoid when entering trades. So I'm not going to take this one, obviously, but let's see. How do you feel about this one, Maddie? Are you still on here? Yeah, Maddie said he doesn't like it. I don't like it either. So I didn't really hop into it. Yeah, Maddie said price needs to come down way more. Yeah, and I agree with you too, Maddie. So I'll hold off on this right now. That was technically a high-low quick scalp, but it's just not very strong. Everything's still kind of bullish. So let's see if it establishes a lower low. What I'm looking for here is possibly for price to come a bit lower. Like establish another low like that. So maybe on the next one here, if this doesn't close with a sell signal, maybe on this next one. But you guys have noticed, like, I forgot who mentioned it earlier. Someone mentioned that, you know, there was a bunch of pending signal that just keep coming up. It's like the fourth time. So it's trying really hard to come down, but it's not really having any luck. So we got about 17 seconds left on this candle right here. If the next candle if we get a sell signal here, there's not going to be an entry, of course, because it's going to start to shift back down. But if this doesn't close with it, no, it still has a pending signal on it, so I don't want to take it. like if you guys have been following these 1 minute candles, we've been having these pending sell signals for like about, I don't know how many candles now. For like, I think it's been happening since here. So we've been having like these pending signals for about 10 minutes now. So price is trying its hardest to make its way down. You can see that the shift in momentum is attempting to push down right here, but it's not having any luck. There we go with another pending entry. Yeah, so technically this would be another high low quick scalp, but pending momentum on the candle, so it's not looking good. Maybe this next one. No, another pending signal there, and volatility is super, super low. So if you look at these candles right here, there's like no body. Each candle's been moving about 100 pips. Definitely not a good sign. You guys see this? This is unusual for like mid-session of New York session. Like during New York, typically price is moving like at least 300 pips per candle. Like something like this, right? This is normal candle, 300 pips, spot on. These candles are moving like less than 100 pips, which is really weird. It just seems like nobody's in the market right now. Volatility is at all like very low. It's weird for a Wednesday. Wednesday is typically the busier day. Unless there's like something going on. Like if the Fed's speaking today, typically people will just sit out and wait. Heat map over here is pretty mixed. Yeah, heat map is pretty mixed. I just don't see anything here on CNBC. I was like trying to see if there's anything going on, but it's not much. Thanks, Fahad, for the little update. Yeah, Fahad said market is now 51% short. I couldn't tell if this one right here was a pending signal, but this one finally pushed up and hit TP. But yeah, thanks Fahad for the quick update there. Seth said, not vibing with this market at all. See you guys tomorrow. Definitely, Seth. Yeah, no, and I agree with you too, Seth. It's just not a good market. It's been going like, I mean, it'll have like a short little burst of movement and then it'll just die down. And then burst of movement, die down. Right here, not really much going on either. Let me just refresh this, or let me clean this up actually. All right, so it's in a range right here, but it's a really small range. It's not too much going on. It's close to news price right there. Dejan said it's 30 degrees outside. The market's dead. I stuttered trying to shoot my shot. I might just call it a day. Yeah, no, it's a rough day for you today, Dejan. Jonathan said back to sleep I go. Man, it's crazy that it's 30 degrees over there. I think you're in Atlanta, right, Dejan? Or you're in Georgia, actually. Yeah, you're in Georgia. It's like 80 degrees over here in California, bro. It's still it feels like it's still summer. I got the AC blasting over here. It's, man, I don't know about it. I can never live on that side of the US. 30 degrees, that's crazy. Yeah, Dejan said y'all are lucky. Aloha. Yeah, it's hot here. I don't know like what's going on with the weather, but yesterday it was hot. It was like 80 degrees like at night. Yeah, Maddie said any from LA would not be able to live in 30-degree weather. Scotty said he loves fall, winter, hate the heat. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Maddie said be complaining all day. I know if the weather ever goes below 60, people are complaining that it's too cold. If the weather is over 80, people are complaining that it's too hot. Yeah. Yeah, we don't really get seasons here in California. Yeah, Jonathan said yesterday it was hot and it rained on Saturday. I know, right? The weather was weird here, Jonathan. It was raining on Saturday pretty hard. And then I thought it was going to cool down, but it's actually still pretty hot. It's the only place we'll be blasting AC in the middle of October. C6AG's Boston is warmer. Come vacay, it's 52 degrees here. New England summer. Yeah, no, anything under 55 degrees is too cold for me. All right, so here we go. As price comes back down, guys. Let me check the 10-minute. So we're getting some volatility here. It's getting a little better. It's not like a lot better, but it is picking up slightly. The trends here are changing it back to neutral. 30-minute also neutral. 1 hour is probably still bullish. Yeah, no surprise there. All right, so this is the overall bias right now. It is bullish, bullish, neutral, neutral, neutral. So with that said, I mean, you can still probably take some sells here if you really wanted to, if we get one, but obviously we'll have to wait for that to actually happen. So we finally got the sell signal here that's been pushing pretty much all throughout the day. This sell signal was attempting to close out for the past, like from this point up till here, about like 20 minutes or so. Price has been attempting to get that sell signal going. Actually, even further, it was trying to come down from here. So the sell signal has actually been trying to come up for like the last 30 minutes. Finally came up right here. So we have the sell signal coming or present. What we're looking for now is we're looking for price to come up, establish a high, and then a possible high-low quick scalp for a sell if we can. Nice, nice. Yeah, Brian said just moved to Connecticut. Can't wait for to hit the slopes. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, Big Bear's not too far from us here, and well, I mean, it's nothing like Connecticut, of course, but that's our snow here. Yeah, you know, I haven't gone to the snow in a while. It's been like a couple of years. Maybe this year I'll go up and snowboarding. All right, so let's see what's happening over here, guys. We have this low that's established. I kind of want price to drop down a little lower. I want it to be below the pivots over here. I'd be a little more comfortable taking sells with price below the pivots at that point. But I mean, we'll see. The thing that I'm worried about is if price pushes up from this point. So like, for example, price is right here. Price pushes up, establishes a high right here, and provides an entry for us. That's gonna be risky because it's going to have like a gap right here where price can easily. So if your stop loss is 300 pips or even 200 pips, it gives it too much room for a possible reversal, right? So that's why I'm a little more, concerned about like where price is currently at. If it's below the pivot's great, you know, it'll look like some sort of reversal. Like for example, right here, we had a sell entry, price came below. I'd be more inclined to take trades down here versus up here. And you can see how this green candle is popping up right here as well. Let's see. Patrick said last one was off Sean's analysis. I'm done for the day. Nice work, Patrick. So Patrick over here is just listening to my analysis of price, you know, going up and down. Okay, hold up, guys. So possible entry right here for a high-low quick scalp. It's not really in the area that I want to be trading in, though. Or maybe not high-low quick scalp after all if this closes with the buy signal. So we'll see here how it plays out. And then after that, I'll look at everyone's profits. Got a couple of profits over here from everybody. So this has got about 10 seconds left on the candle. And this has a pending momentum on it. It would have been a nice entry too. I'm not going to take it because it has that pending momentum on it. It's not an area that I'm really too keen on. As I mentioned, I prefer it to be down like below here for me to take the entry. So there is a high-low quick scalp right there. The problem with this here is that there's no bearish. I mean, there's no bearish bias at all, right? Looking over here, we're looking for directional moderate bias. There's no bias here for a sell yet. So I'm not inclined on taking this trade here. I'm just being, as conservative as possible because I don't want to take any trades here that are just iffy. Like I don't want to take any trades that are 50-50. Obviously, it did hit full TP, but it was like a 50-50 chance of it hitting. I typically want some edge in the market. We don't have an edge right now because there's no direction. Price kind of just goes back and forth. The edge in the market would be if we had like this right here, all bearish, then that'd be our edge because we're expecting price to drop lower, right? So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for price to come back a little lower. Or let me just put this back up right here. What I'm waiting for now is I'm looking for price to drop a little lower and then do the same thing. Provide a high and come down lower from that point so I can take my sell and be completely confident with the entry there. Nice. Deswell said 2,200 to go on his MFF verification. Nice, Deswell. You should be funded by the end of the week. So, yeah, I'd probably be a little careful with your entries there, Deswell. I've seen a lot of people where it's crazy. They get down to like $200 passing their to getting funded, and then they just overdo it and blow their account. I've seen it happen to a lot of people. Like people in this group specifically, it's just crazy. It's like people will be like a few dollars away from passing and getting funded. And for whatever reason, they decide to take a huge lot size, like more than what they normally take. And then they end up getting caught in some massive drawdown. They don't pull out, hit their daily drawdown for the day, and there goes the account. So, yeah, just take it nice and steady. Jonathan raised his hand. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, it happens with a lot of people. I mean, I'm not going to call anybody out, but it's a common thing. So if it's happened to you guys before, don't feel discouraged. There's actually a lot more people than you think that it's happened to. You're not the only one. What happens is a lot of people get like their trade psychology gets screwed up. Like you guys will be away for you'll be away from passing your challenge or like getting funded. The challenge is easy, but passing your verification, I see a lot of people screw up on the verification, and it's crazy because it's a lot easier. Like people just get too excited. They get down to like their $200 where they just need one trade to get funded or even a partial trade. And they get all excited and they think, okay, I'm gonna get funded. I'm gonna make all this money. And then shit happens, right? So just keep that in mind, guys. Just make sure that you guys don't get too overly excited. Like once you're funded and you get your payout, then great. But until that happens, be a little more careful with like getting a little too hyped too early. Yeah, definitely, Maddie. Maddie said he's still got a couple thousand left on his FTMO. Got his MFF verification. Might not start trading until market shows some sign of direction. And Maddie said, with that being said, I'm logging off. Going to save my capital and psychology. See you tomorrow, bro. Yeah, definitely, Maddie. So we'll see you here tomorrow. Probably best decision to just sit out. Don't trade after 8. I see a lot of people trade after 8, blow their accounts. I mean, it's like I'm laughing about it, but it's like it's fucked up. It's screwed because I see so many people like they make a lot of profit during the live and then they blow their accounts during like trading after. But sometimes that's just how people learn. Nice. So CC said demand hit down there. Thanks, CC. Yeah, Maddie said he's going to start his verification next week, depending on what Monday looks like. Yeah, definitely, Maddie. So we'll see you here tomorrow morning. Let's see. Patrick said, I'm not looking to take any sells until all pivots and trend meter turn. Very little red on 1 minute. Trend meter symptoms open. Yeah, and I agree too, Patrick. He said he's waiting for a potential SR scalp to wick off this little zone up there, if anything at all. Maybe catch a small push between there and news, but that's the closest. Yeah, as it's the closest target price. Yeah, and I agree with you too, Patrick. Patrick said, the objective is not to see how quickly you can get it done, but rather how long can you do it for. Yeah, exactly, Patrick. I feel like that's the thing with a lot of people, right? A lot of people want to get rich overnight, so they try to get funded like within a couple days, and that's why a lot of people opt to taking like TFF over FTMO, which blows my mind. You know, since day one, I've told everybody not to do any other accounts until you pass your FTMO, but I see a lot of people do TFF because they don't have a day requirement, so they want to go and pass their TFF within one day, get funded within the week or so, and then blow their account the next day, right? There's no consistency there. The thing is, if they have that 10-day trading requirement to establish consistency with your trading, even though you're not taking any trades, it allows you to have a cool down period. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that. They think the 10-day trading requirement is dumb, but in reality, it's actually a good thing because it gives you time to cool down. Because you'll pass your challenge within the first 2 days and you're super excited. You want to pass the next challenge, right? But the cool down period allows you to just get a clear mind. So say you pass your challenge in 2 days with FTMO, you got 10 days to just think about it, right? To reanalyze your trade, to cool off, and then wait for your verification. With TFF, they'll let you pass within 2 days. So say you get really lucky, you take a huge trade back to open or something like that, and you pass your challenge in 1 day. You get your verification the next day, you're super excited, you pass your verification. As soon as you get funded, you blow your account because you're still on that high. The thing is, you can't be on that high forever. You have to come down to earth sometimes. So, you know, just take that into consideration, guys. Whenever you guys go do TFF or you do any of these other funding companies, they're not looking in your, like, it's not placed in your favor, right? They do that literally to fuck with your psychology. I mean, some people just never see it. Yeah, Patrick said, got to look at trading as a professional career, not even as a job. And most professional careers, you'll work at your craft for over 40 years, plus trading into perspective. Yeah, puts trading into perspective, like what Patrick said. Like for me, a lot of people don't like the way I trade because I take like 1 or 2 trades a day. But the thing that I am compared to like others is I'm consistent, right? I take 1 or 2 trades and I call it a day. Take 2 trades the next day, call it a day. And I'm just stacking up profits all throughout the week. Yeah, sure, I'm not having like 100K days, but you know, I'm cool with like 10K days and then having it over an extended period of time. So we'll see. I mean, there's no entries here. I'm still looking for something to come up. We have a low over here. So now that we have low, I'm looking for a high to kind of come up at some point over here. I just need price to push up a little bit, but there is just nothing to take at the moment. Yeah, Patrick said, when I started trading less hours, I started making more money. LOL. Yeah, same here. The thing with me, guys, is when I was trading all day, I would make a lot of profit at some point, and then I would lose it all in another session, typically Asia session. And I think that's the problem with a lot of people too. Like for me, now that I've cut down my trading to 1.5 hours each day, 6:30 to 8, I've become a lot more profitable and more consistent with my trading. So it's getting close to 8 o'clock, guys. Unfortunately, we don't have any entries here. I'll hang on for a little bit longer. So I'll try to stay on a little past 8 because what I've started to notice with Maddie and other people is that whenever we have a bad trading day, like not really a bad trading day, but if the market's kind of slow throughout New York session, it typically will provide at least 1 or 2 entries like shortly after 8. So I'll hang around with you guys for a little longer than usual today. I just want to wait for at least 1 entry, and then we could probably wrap it up for the day. But yeah, that's something that I've noticed. Yeah, Patrick said day trading has the potential to close the time gap between making 5 figures a year to making 7 figures a year by a decade. If you're methodical, consistent, and non-emotional about it. Yeah, exactly, Patrick. So as long as you guys can trade for like 1 hour, 2 hours a day and keep your emotions out of it, I mean, that's all you really need. That's kind of what I'm trying to instill into you guys. Some of you guys get it, some of you guys don't. But you know, this is the reason why I only trade for like about 1 hour a day, is because I have full focus for about 1 hour. I'm focused enough to take 1 or 2 trades, and then I just go on with my day after that. Desmond said he's done for the day. Yeah, no, I'd probably be done for the day too, Deswell, especially for you since you're like so close to passing your verification. So yeah, Deswell, I'll see you here tomorrow. Same time, same place. If there's any other questions, guys, feel free to put your questions in the chat. You know, as I mentioned, I'll hang around for a bit. See if there's another. So what I'll wait for here is I'm gonna wait for a high-low quick scalp. So what I'm basically the only thing that I'm waiting for here to happen is I'm looking for price to come up slightly, establish a high, and then come back down. If I can get that, then that'll be my high-low quick scalp. The problem right here is that we're getting close to the sessions. So it's not a good thing because it'll be a red flag. Going over to the 10-minute, I think this is starting to shift. Yeah, so the 10-minute is now bearish. 15-minute, bearish. 30-minute, bearish. 60-minute, still bullish. I'm sure the 4 hours bullish as well. Okay, so this is now shifted. The main thing that we're looking for here is for the trend meter to turn red as well. So I know this is what you were looking for earlier as well, Pat. You were looking for this to change, and it's finally starting to make its way. Yeah, no, exactly. I agree with what Patrick said too. So there are decades where nothing happens and weeks where decades happen. Yeah, exactly. It's really it's like fishing, right? That's really what trading is, guys. Trading, if you, well, I don't know if you guys have fished before, but if you guys have fished before, you're kind of just sitting on the boat for like, you know, hours and hours and hours. For us, it's more like minutes, but it's kind of the same thing. You're just sitting there and waiting for something to pull, right? That's basically what we're doing here too. We're sitting here waiting for this high. That's going to be basically the fish. And then the confirmation is that when we have that wick on the next one, it's going to be the pull. So when you get that, you'll enter the quick trade there and then lock in that win. So I'm looking for this high here to get established. Once we get the high here, we'll see if we can catch the little wick rejection. Target price point is going to be the sessions right here anyways. So I kind of want price to push up slightly, provide that high. And then when price blasts through here to hit the sessions, it'll go right through our TP. But we do not have a high just yet. So see where this goes. All right. Nothing going on. But I can see this high coming up at some point. There we go. We got the high right here. So let's see if this ends up providing this opportunity to take the sell. About 20 seconds left on this candle. Just don't give us a buy signal. No pending buy signal, please. That's all we need, because we're looking for the wick on the next candle, guys. It's no wick yet. Fuck, man. We got the buy signal right there. That's literally what I was waiting for not to happen. And it happened. Well, it wouldn't matter because we didn't have a wick on this candle anyways. But that's the setup that I was looking for. I was looking for price to push up at least a little bit, provide that wick rejection. And if we had that right there, it would have blasted right through our TP. Yeah, but Patricia said, don't get FOMO, Sean. Just get off. Yeah, all right, guys. So it's past 8 o'clock. I know I was going to sit on for a bit, but I'm starting to get FOMO because I really want to take this trade here. This would have been the entry that we were looking for, but it didn't come up. We were looking for the wick rejection off the top. Also, we were looking to make sure that there was no pending buy signal here, but the pending buy signal literally came up as soon as I said it. So another red flag right there. All right, guys. So I think this is it. Unfortunately, no trades for today, no trades for yesterday. Monday was a good day, so I'm still pretty heavy in profit for the week. The real key here is to avoid getting caught in these FOMO moves right here. So I'm getting FOMO because I really want to take a trade, but it doesn't look like the market's really giving us anything. There was no SR scalps available. Price didn't really sit around the zones here throughout the day. I mean, there was a couple here that came up, but a lot of these zones didn't show up until after it passed. So for now, guys, I think you guys should probably sit out the market. Let me check the news for tomorrow and see if there's anything else that is coming up that could cause market to move around. I think the Fed is speaking today. Yeah, so the Fed is speaking today at 3:30, Fed member Bullard. Tomorrow we have some news, some high impact news. We have the Philly Fed manufacturing index at 5:30 a.m. and unemployment claims. So this will probably cause the market to move pre-market. This is a good thing because when the market opens, we have some more news here at 7 o'clock. There's actually a lot of news tomorrow. We have tomorrow's Fed day. There's 3 Fed members speaking around 10 o'clock. And then we have natural gas storage, CB leading index, existing home sales, unemployment claims, and Philly manufacturing index all tomorrow. So it's a pretty jam-packed day of news, which is going to be beneficial for us because this will cause volatility in the market. If we have volatility, then it's going to be easy for us to catch. It's going to be easy for us to catch. Damn, there was an entry that just came up right here too. As soon as I take my eyes off the chart, but it's all good. I'm not going to FOMO into it. This is definitely not the type of market to be FOMOing into the trades. But yeah, tomorrow should be better. We have a lot of news pre-market, and then we have news post-market as well. So, all right, guys, unless you guys have any questions, feel free to email me at sean@kodikaitrades.com. Otherwise, you guys can message me on Telegram. If you guys are new here and you want access to the indicators to apply these strategies on your own, as you guys saw earlier today, a lot of people mentioned strategies on the 3-minute pivot scalp, 5-minute pivot scalp, 10-minute snipe over here, 10-minute daily, etc. Looks like there might be a daily entry right here. So if this candle does close, this will be the daily entry for the 10-minute, and this will probably hit because our bias for today was bearish anyways. So this is something to possibly look at if you guys are going to continue trading after the live session. So 10-minute daily entry. Basically look for entry after New York Stock Exchange open at 6:30. Confirm overall bias is bearish. Confirm first valid K2 momentum signal. That's what this one would be. And yeah, so if this closes here, this would be the possible entry for a sell. So other than that, guys, I think that's about it. If you guys want access to the indicators and the strategies, just go to the website, kodikaitrades.com, and you can get access right here. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow, same place, same time, as we take on Thursday, October 19th or October 20th trading day. Hopefully it'll be better, which I do expect it to be. So, all right, guys, other than that, have a great rest of your morning, and I'll see you guys here tomorrow.